All right, welcome back to the Daily Arizona Update. First, we're going to start off with some proof that I actually do the thing, so when I talk about these things, that can make sense to you. Next, we're going to cover some local news and stories that you should likely know about if you are living in the Arizona area. Then, we're going to talk about some building in public or share something knowledgeable that I'm kind of thinking through in the moment. And lastly, we're going to go over the Cromford Report market update and make note of where it was today compared to the last several weeks. So, the first thing is proof that my partner and I do the thing. He's been in real estate for over a decade. I've been in real estate for over 6 years. Zillow data only shows the last 5 years, and a lot of our transactions are off market or they are fix and flips. So that number is going to be a little bit different, but even if you didn't believe that we did anything off market, alone in the last 5 years, there has been 565 sales just between Templeton. And then when you combine both of ours, which there will be some overlap, like you can see, we're probably around that 600 mark. So 600 homes sold in the last 5 years is a pretty good amount there. Most agents are only doing one, maybe a year. 500 is a lot better than that. 600, even better. Right now, we've got 2 active listings that are in that luxury area. We also have a handful of buyers that we're working with, some that are under contract currently. We have 1 rental listing that's a luxury listing here for $6,500 a month. And here is that 565 number and some that we've sold. You can see here, 1 or 2 closings a month, and this has been kind of a slower market for us, yet we are still cranking. So some proof that we do the thing. Here is some of the fix and flips that I was talking about. You can see that this is his entity here, TLP Ventures. He bought it for $1.5 million, and this was the entity that he was partnered on doing the deal. And that one ended up selling it for $2.65 million back in 2022. Here's another one. This was going to be, I believe, North 79th Street. This is going to be right next to the Waste Management Open up there in North Scottsdale. And you can see the sales price here of $1.31 million. And yep, here is that address here that I was talking about. So we do this thing. We know real estate well, and we do it frequently, both on market, off market. We're very familiar in the investment space. And hopefully this proof helps you understand what I'm saying in this video. Makes a little bit more sense. So first thing, let's start off. First thing, let's start off here with a story about new modular home venture aims to disrupt market with durable, quick build units. So this is a company that is called, I believe, HomeAccess. HomeAccess America, and they're going to begin selling these modular homes. They're not tiny homes, but they are modular. What that means is the homes can be built in just around 2 months. They are pre-built designs with panels and functionality. It's essentially like you are buying a IKEA home, except it's way more durable. One of the selling points of this home is that they are constructed of concrete, steel beams, and they're designed to be earthquake, flood, and fireproof. Of course, this isn't necessarily needed in Arizona. We don't have earthquakes, we don't have floods for the most part, and we have some fire issues, but it's not a huge issue like places like California that we saw earlier this year, which obviously none of us are happy about. Another interesting part about these homes is that they are, like I mentioned here, traditional builds. They don't need much time. A 2,000 square foot modular home can be put up in under 2 months. Currently, the system is in over 100 different countries through an unnamed international partner. The goal is, they mentioned in the article as well, is that they would like to be building these in the United States. So currently, an unnamed international partner, my guess is China, and with the tariffs and all the things going on in the world, they likely are looking to move that into the United States, but they have to find out if that's financially reasonable. The modular homes range in price from $120,000 to $240,000, and the sizes are anywhere from 1,400 to 2,600 square feet. They do say that they have a starter home here as low as $79,000 for only 1,000 square foot. They've sold 1,000 units so far, so clearly this is something that's working and it's kind of taking off. I do have some points that I think are worth considering when we think about modular homes. The first is that I want to consider here. What does this look like in a hotter or colder climate? When something is made of concrete and steel beams, if we're in Arizona and it's 110 degrees outside, that's literally a pizza oven for a human being. So the circulation in there of air conditioning, the concrete needs to be super insulated. There's a lot of things that need to be right when building these homes to make sure that it doesn't literally kill us. Another question I have around these homes is, what do utility hookups look like and what is this actually going to cost? So typically in Arizona, there are some prep materials that need to happen. You need to actually prep the land, make sure it's flat enough, it's graded, the foundation looks good, there's permits, and there's a driveway. There needs to be some sort of access. Sure, you can have a dirt road, but there still needs to be some sort of way that they can get to and from the property. The sewer and the septic, this can range from $5,000 to $20,000. Water and electric, another $5,000 to $15,000. So the cost of this may be $120,000 to $240,000, but once we have utilities and we have water and septic, once we have sewer, water, and electricity, this could be anywhere from $20,000 to another $35,000 in costs. Plus, they need to buy the land. If you're looking to place this on anywhere that is within the city of Maricopa County, it's going to be pretty hard. Some of these land pieces alone are going for $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. You might be able to find something, maybe a worn down mobile home, and then you can get rid of that, scrape it, put this home down. But all these costs start to add up. The whole point of this is to help people that are maybe disenfranchised or someone that's homeless. Some of these things that, some of these variables that mean that they are typically lower income, they need a little bit more assistance, and the home costs like these start to add up. I mean, they add up for anybody, let alone someone who needs this more than someone who's in, $1 million home in Scottsdale, right? So something that I'm considering when these are getting pitched to people in Arizona, I'm thinking through all the details that we might not be getting marketed to on the website. Pivoting now, we have the Hot Air Balloon Festival Spectacular coming to Arizona. This is going to be Friday, October 26th and 24th. So that full weekend from the 24th to 26th, there is going to be 20 plus hot air balloons, 4,000 pounds of candy. It's going to have a costume contest, and there are going to be the tethered balloon ride. So these 20 plus hot air balloons are going to be tethered, so they aren't floating around like some of these festivals that are in New Mexico or other places like that. So still super fun. You might consider this a little bit more safe if you don't feel comfortable in a hot air balloon. If you know that you're just going up and down, that might be a little more comforting. But a really fun event to do for adults, but also for kids. If you have kids that are interested in dressing up in costumes, getting a bunch of candy, and then kind of exploring that hot air balloon experience, this could be the one for you. Here's a bunch of photos from past events. It looks really cool. There's live music. It's something that I'm personally going to be going to this year, so I can let you guys know what happens when I go. And of course, there's going to be other vendors, and if you are a vendor yourself, you're welcome to reach out and see what that looks like to be a part of this festival. Next up is we have matcha. There's a brand new session with matcha going on. Ever since the TikTok popularity, matcha has blown up. And this place in particular is super unique because it is a restaurant that I believe is only in, Taiwan, China, and of course, Chandler, Arizona. Name a greater trio? I mean, it's insanity. This place opened up in Chandler, Gozen, Kamicha? Probably saying that incorrectly. Apologies. Opened up in June, and it has so many matcha flavored treats. Bring your Claro, bring your corded headphones, and make sure you have a performative book because this place has everything else for you covered. One thing that everyone that goes here has in common, a love for matcha. Some of the menu items that they have here, I've got highlighted. They have a soft serve ice cream. They have warabamochi sundae. They have a creamy white tofu pudding, sweet crunchy puffed white kernels, a big swirl of matcha soft serve joins the party, which is finally adorned with 2 white mochi balls and tender wobbly Kyoto warabi mochi. I'm saying all this terribly. I'm sorry. I'm a very white person from Utah, but I am learning and I am becoming more cultured. I swear of it. There's even more. There is a roll cake. There is also matcha pudding, matcha waffles. There is even the ability to get more matcha powder in your matcha. You can add toppings like tofu pudding, boba, red beans, soybean powder, roasted sesame powder, or even strawberry puree. The cafe also sells bags of their green powder to go. So if you like matcha, if you love matcha, then you are going to love this place in Chandler. I would definitely check it out. Again, the name is right here for you. If you want to check it out, I would definitely recommend it. There's going to be no other place that specializes in matcha to this level of extreme. It's kind of incredible. Next up, we have a little bit of a pivot into ADUs. So there was a bill recently passed, which is right here, HB 2720. This took effect in January, and it requires municipalities with over 75,000 residents to allow for casitas or granny flats on single-family lots. Mesa is the 3rd largest municipality in the state. So this is saying that there is not as big of an impact in ADUs that we would have expected in Mesa, though there is an increase. We're only through July 31st as of this data was taken, and we're already matching some of the levels of the entire year of 2024. So I want to look into this a little bit more and figure out, why are there not more ADUs, considering this is such a great opportunity? So if I go into here, into MLS, I'll change off the darkness mode here, and we are going to go here. So I'm going to look for city, right here. We're going to go Mesa, because this is where the article is talking about, which is going to be all of this area, a ton of homes. And then we are just going to go look and see what's available. So the first thing I'm looking at is it needs to be a single family home or a mobile home. It needs to be something that you have land on. And then we are going to go to square footage of the lot, approximate lot square footage right here. And we're going to do a minimum of, I'm going to do 4,000. That is not nearly enough to have an ADU, but I would like to get rid of anything that is not owned land or land leases. And now let's see what we got. So if you go back to the article real quick, it says, as of August 2025, the city has issued 29 ADU permits, nearly matching the total of 30 issued in 2024. So this is what I was talking about here. And it says that the city will need to build over 2,000 residential units each year, 1,359 single residence, and 806 multiple residence housing in order to accommodate the anticipated growth the plan set. Looking in the future, the city is expected to grow by another 20,000 residents by 2030 with a population of 543,900. This is absolutely massive. So when you go into it, it talks about some of the requirements to actually build an ADU. I don't have the exact list in the article, but it says it needs to have, I believe, 5-foot setbacks. It needs to have a big enough lot, and the coverage of the lot needs to not be overwhelming to actually build a property. So if we just go through and pick a handful here, let's go into the medium price range. To buy a house in Arizona, you're around, call it 400, 500,000. So if we find this one on 93rd Way, let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go Auburn right here. And I go map view. Let's go here, Monsoon. So this is going to show us the data itself of the home. It's going to give us a map view, and we can zoom in. So if we look at this property, we would have to say, okay, could you fit another unit and give 5 feet for each side to actually build out? This is the tricky part. The home here that we're looking at is 1,200 square foot, and the ADU that I have the plan for in my later part of this video is around 800 square feet. So if we're looking at this, we're thinking it's going to be, let's call this being 1,200. If we split this up into sections of 400, it's going to be 2 full sections. So now we're looking at an ADU of around here. This is just a little too close for comfort, and I'm not even sure if they would allow this. This is just the coverage map that they mentioned. This is super tight. So now if we go look at another one, I'm just clicking the next one on the list, doing the same exact thing, zooming in. This one, it's on a cul-de-sac, so that gives us a little more hope. What's our square footage that we're looking at here? 1,200 again. So if we split this up, already we can tell there's a pool, which means there is no chance of this fitting. Let's just say that the 800 square foot would be this section here. There would have to be another, call it here, right? This goes a little bit long just because I'm terrible at drawing, but the pool, it would never work. Now let's keep going down our list. Let's pick this one on Contessa Street. All right, let's zoom in. So far, I am seeing a long log of a home. There is no hope that they're putting an ADU here. So I'm going to give one more example. Neville Ave. Again, I'm just in the average price one. I haven't tried to cherry pick anything, and you've seen me do this live. Again, there would be no room. Could we go out of our way to find something that we think maybe could keep going here? This one's on a little bit more of an angled lot. You can already see there's no chance. Des Moines, come on, Des Moines. No chance. If we go back into the mobile homes, maybe mobile homes can sometimes have longer lots. You can tell this looks like it might be a mobile from the photos, kind of that floor plan, but you really never know. This one, let's just see. What are we working with square footage wise? 1100. Again, we were picking an 800 square foot thing. So let's call it this section. Could they place another bit of that here? I mean, I'm being a little generous, going longer than wider, but it's just funky. It's too close to the setbacks here. It seems hard. So my point in saying all this is in Arizona, when someone comes to me, which happens all the time, they say, I want something that I can build on. I want something that I can put maybe an extra garage. I want something with a lot of land, and I do not want to be in an HOA. Well, this is the hard part. There are very few average size homes that come with large lots in the valley today. If you want to go super deep and out into Queen Creek, maybe out west into Buckeye, Glendale, Litchfield Park, some of these areas, which still are going to be tricky, but you can go deeper into the edges of the, call it Maricopa County area, you might be able to find something. But for the most part, it's hard. So I asked myself, what homes actually qualify for this from the lot size? What is the real cost of actually doing an ADU? What would it cost to build and finance? And then how do HOAs actually change the picture here? Because again, you can't build anything in the HOA if they don't allow it. The city could say with HB 2720, hey, you can go do this if we are within the requirements of the city. It has to be over 75,000 residents, blah, 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 blah. We crush that in Mesa. But if the HOA says, I'm not allowing this, the HOA rules. The HOA has more rights than the city does to decide what happens in that neighborhood. So now we eliminate anything with an HOA. And then miscellaneous items is what about the sewer and the septic changes that come to putting an additional unit in your property? What about the electricity and the panel upgrades that have to happen? So I want to go over this with you, and we just checked the MLS, which showed that it was pretty difficult to find something. I might be able to go here and limit, increase lot size. Maybe you need 15,000 square feet. You're thinking I need something pretty big. Okay, 126 homes. What are we looking at budget-wise? $1, that's not real. $470. We see $249. This one's interesting. Sean Steimer. I don't know him personally, but he owns a couple things in Arizona that are pretty cool. We go look here. If you're thinking about building something, you might be able to decide something here. So this one could be an opportunity for you. 1,800 square foot home, so it's pretty big on the lot already. So our size might be something small here. This one's an option. We go Ella Street over here, Mesa. This one has a lot of extra land here. So this one could be a really good option if you can figure out a driveway situation all the way to the back. So they do exist and there is opportunity, but it's lower, right? We had 1,000 homes and now we only have 126. And we easily start to creep up into this expensive price point where I can almost guarantee you that this one has an HOA. No HOA, okay. But again, it's $700,000. So now you're looking to do that. What does the ADU cost? So the real cost, roughly on the low end for an 800 square foot unit, you're around $275 a square foot plus $30,000 in site prep utilities. So I've already done some math here. $800 or 800 foot rather at 275 square foot. I speak fast, so hopefully this makes sense, right? The cost is this per foot. So then you multiply by how many feet, gives you $220,000. Plus, to do your utilities, your site prep, the septic, the sewer, on the low end, you're looking at about $30,000, which means I'm adding this plus $30,000. Now we're at $250,000. If I open up my payments in this calculator here, for this, it is going to be, let's see here, $250,000, assuming that you put down 10% to do all of this, and assuming you can even get financing for someone to do all that, we are looking at a present value of $225,000. Let's say your rate was 8.5. You had 360 payments, which means a 30-year mortgage. All this means is your monthly payment is going to be, see if we can edit in here, $1,700 roughly. That's how much it costs every single month to have this ADU built. It's not ideal for cash flow when I went through and looked at some of the rental numbers, and what we're looking at is $1,200 to $1,700 a month for rent. Let's say you get $1,400 in rent, but it's costing you $1,700. God, this handwriting is just terrible. That means you are negative $300 a month. If you're looking to build this as an investment, you might not be looking to burn through $300. That doesn't seem like the world's greatest investment. So let's say you had to do this all in and you didn't own one of these properties that could likely fit an ADU. Now you're buying something, let's just call a $450,000 house plus the $250,000 ADU. All in, you are at $700,000. 450 plus 250, $700,000. Now, let's say that you're, again, financing this. You put 10% down. So we're going to multiply this by 90%. That is how much you're financing. You're going to be at 360 months still. That's a 30-year mortgage. And now let's say you get an even better rate for all this combined, and you're at 7.5. Your total monthly payment is going to be $4,377. Let's go $4,377. And this number does not include random items like, let's say you have $100 in utilities. Now you have probably, call it $550 a month in your gas, your city of Mesa, your SRP bill in the summer. These things are pretty expensive. And now you have 2 different units that you're trying to cool down. You're at about $5,000 a month in costs. And it's going to be super hard to cover that for an average family. For most people that are looking for this affordable unit, you are not going to be seeing a $5,000 a month payment and feeling comfortable in doing so. So this is going to be someone that can obviously qualify to do this. And then at that point, they might be trying to rent it. But again, the rental doesn't fully make sense. So who is building ADU for? I'm not sure. Maybe this is someone that already owns the home outright and they have enough land already and they want to build this. It's just tough. Things are expensive right now. The Arizona market is not renting great for this kind of unit, and it starts to help you realize why only 29 ADU permits have been pulled. Because this just doesn't make sense for most people, even though it sounds super sexy and it sounds like something the bigger pockets would be promoting. Hey, build this ADU on your back lot, even though you're never going to make money from it and it's just going to be a super costly financial decision. You should go build one. I don't know. I could be totally wrong in all of this. I could be missing something. All I'm looking at is it seems expensive to do. It seems unlikely that many people can do it. And for those that can afford to do it, they might not want to because that same money can make them more in things like the stock market. So I don't know. Long tangent to say it sounds cool, but what is the reality of an ADU? Next up, we have the Cromford report, which is going to be a little bit shorter today. We don't have a lot going on in the market. We did see a slight increase. You can see our updates here. Yesterday was 76.8 and today is 77.0. The biggest change is we have a little less supply, so a couple homes had closed since the last time we looked at this. The demand has really not changed, and the biggest news comes from Santan Valley Incorporation official. The results of the Pinal County election on the 5th have come in, and Santan Valley is now going to become a town. Typically, it has been considered in the Cromford report with Queen Creek. Those two areas have kind of been merged for a long time. So this is going to be the first time that it is going to have its own Cromford report section. But it is going to take a second. It is not a quick task. So a quick summary here. The market has seen a slight improvement. Santan Valley is officially incorporated as a town. This is Arizona's 92nd municipality with over 100,000 inhabitants. So the Cromford report is going to relatively quickly, make these changes so that the Santan Valley section can have its own little area. So we're going to see what happens to Queen Creek. As it starts to remove Santan Valley, does that improve the market? Does that make it worse? My guess is Queen Creek is going to become one of the hotter markets. The Cromford report, I think that area is super hot, and I think Santan Valley has been dragging it down. I think Santan Valley homes typically sit longer than Queen Creek does, so we'll see how this all reflects itself on the report. I'm excited to find out, and that is, the daily update for August 19th. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Hopefully this was informational. I'm not too sure what part was your favorite here, so if you have anything, make sure you comment it down below. Add any questions you have, and we can answer questions in this as well. Hopefully it was informative. I'll see you guys tomorrow for some news updates. Alrighty, see you then. Peace, y'all.